Okay. Tomorrow is actually my birthday. I'll be level 51 tomorrow. And if you want to say what level you are, feel free to type in your level. I wish you a happy birthday for when yours is too. And there's nothing I love more than to come on here and share wisdom. So I plan on doing this every year for the rest of my existence. So eventually, just so you know, if you're still around with me, it's going to be a level 140. So we should probably save this list, Aaron, so we could just so we could keep adding it to it, because I'm going for 140. So we'll have to just extend. It will end up being like a full day thing we're going to do. And before I go into the list, and Aaron's going to back us up, he's actually going to be typing things as I'm saying it on here. So you're going to have a running list. I would have a pen and paper, and you're probably going to have a hard time keeping up with the list. And there's more than 51. So I hope you're okay with that, that I went over 51. But what I did was, as I was thinking about this, I wanted to think of how many things that I could do or share with you on things like in the bracket of power, right? The bracket of power. And then I wanted to share some things in the bracket of freedom. And I thought that would be really neat. And then I thought I would share some things in the bracket of wealth. And if you do, since some of you do know me, if you could do me a quick honor and just tell me, like, how do you know me? Did you attend an event? Are you related to me? Are we just friends from another group or something? Like, how do we know each other? Like, type that in the chat bar. But these 51 things or more that I'm going to share with you tonight, I just want to let you know, like, I looked back through my journey, right? Through my journey of being on my own, very young, training martial arts for a lot of years. A lot of people, I think, looking, and I wonder if, and I want to make this real collaborative, right? Like, I'm not going to talk at you. I'm going to talk with you. And I'm really warmed up because I cranked through in my business, CEO Warrior. For some of you that know that I have another business, CEO Warrior, I have a new business with my wife and Aaron called Food Dog Group. And some of you probably have in both worlds. So I already did a webinar today. Was anybody on that webinar? I mean, yeah. Did I tear that up or what? Yeah, I was tearing that thing up today. And as I went back in time, I just remember all the times throughout my life where people maybe didn't think like I was cut out for success. And I definitely didn't fit the college bracket, right? So, like, you know, in life, there was like a fork in the road. It was like, and somebody's moving you through these places. They're like, oh, you're meant for college. And they push you in that bracket. And then they're like, look at me. And they're like, you're like vocational school shit, right? Like, you're not, I don't think you're college, which worked out really good because I became an electrician. And my hopes for you through this time tonight, which will be roughly, I would imagine, about 90 minutes, but I'm not going to stop till I'm done. So if you got to go, you go. We'll try to get you to recording somehow. I wanted to see, like, what were the pieces? Like, what was the piece that kept me where I was? What did I learn when I was stuck? What's the piece that, like, triggered for me and helped me grow a company from under $1 million to 32 million? What was another thing that I learned that was like, boom, helped me sell to a private equity firm at an extremely high multiple? Then, like, what was it? Like, what is that thing that's like, boom, kept me doing martial arts now it's going to be 36 years that I'm level 51. Like, what created that consistency? And you're going to hear it throughout the different things here. And then, like, what has helped me become, I was telling my wife about the list. She goes, oh, am I one of the numbers? And like, no, like, she's the number. She's the number. My beautiful wife, if you don't know her, Jennifer. And like, what's made us successful since we're 15 years old? Like what makes that type of relationship go the test of time? And I have things from that. And then what has you change a complete industry, right? And not all of you may not know my story, but like, what were those things that I'm going to share with you tonight that allowed me to step in and create this thing called CEO Warrior and change a complete industry, right? Where we're in 6 countries with that thing. We're in 42 different industries, and we're a dominator out there. And it's only 7 years. And, we have a pretty solid global presence, and we have impacted and changed the lives. And if you're on the CEO Warrior side and we changed your life there, can you put something in the chat bar like, you changed my life there? And, and then bringing in like part of the list. And what's up, my man, Steve Moon? What's up, guys? Nice to see both of you there. And what helped me like bring in investors into CEO Warrior. And then the last one that I started to think about was like this new thing that I'm doing, which is I hope that whatever you could share on this part is I want to impact, or I should say, I will impact 1 million or more people in 100 countries or more in a decade or less. Okay, in a decade or less. And the reason I come for that, and maybe you'll make a note, like what is going to be your next impact for you? What's going to be your next thing that is, it's a must. And it's a must for me because the world really is going to need a really, really big shift. How many of you, by the way, just say yes or question mark, are in our Food Dog group? It's a Facebook group. It's a free group. We put all kinds of stuff in there. Who's in there? Either yes or question mark. All right, we got some question marks, a lot of yeses. So thank you for that. All right, I'll put the link in there for you guys. Once this is all run out, Aaron will dump the link a couple times. And I hope you'll join that group, which is it's a free group, but it's a great place to collaborate on life. And that's what this whole Food Dog thing, which is just, in case you don't know what they are, there's these imperial lion dogs, right? Sometimes you see them protecting palaces and things, right? They're big, huge. And there's a male and a female, in case you don't know what a food dog is, because I said it to someone who's going to do some stuff on a house that my wife and I are getting. And they said this, he was like, what? You're selling dog food now? Like, my God. And I was like, no. And I had to explain this whole thing to him. So let's dig into the list together, and this will be super fun. So number one, what I learned, and this is going to be the power bracket. Okay, the power bracket. And the way you'll know how to take notes is put power. Aaron will type in there, and you're going to coordinate. Like when I hit a chord in you, when I hit a time and you're like, I need to do more power, you focus in there. If I say something else, be like, I have to do that, or I already do that, or I need to do it more. So the chat bar is just freaking out the whole time. And I'll also let you know when we transition. I'll do a little summary when we transition to the next bracket. All right, so let's dig into this and let's have a good time. The first thing is that I learned is be fearless, right? Be fearless. Never shy away from a challenge. And I've had to do this like so many different times in my life. And I think you too, right? Like everything's a challenge. Like when you have kids, like it's uncharted land if you don't have kids, and that's a challenge. And if you have a relationship, and like that you got to be fearless to be in a relationship. Like you have to be able to, step up and step forward and make sure. No, I'm not sharing my screen. My wife was asking me if I'm sharing my screen. I'm just going to verbally give it all to you tonight. And plus the cord that for my webinar before, Nelson took it from me and never gave it back to the guy on my team. So I don't even know if I would hook it up anyway. But when you think about fearless, think about yourself and think about the world. Do you think the world's trying to make you fearless or fearful? What do you think? Type in the chat bar. I think it's trying to make everybody scared, right? It's trying to hold you back in what you're doing. It's trying to tell you your business can't be this big and you can't do that new thing and you can't become this. Number two, overcome your old stories. The stories you create for yourself and the stories others create for you. And you might even think this one story is not even like, what do you mean? Like, some people try to give me their story is like, I'm lucky. And can you give me permission, like, since this is my birthday night here, well, tomorrow's my birthday. Is it okay if I curse? None of you will freak out. Well, if you do, could you just fucking pray for me later? That would be fine. I'll be fine. Is that cool? Because I want to give you my very best self, and I don't want to worry about trying to, be somebody I'm not. But, like, people want to gift you, like, you're so lucky, right? Like, and I'm like, fucking, you think this is lucky? This is forged steel, right? If you know a katana sword, like I have them in the room here, like a samurai sword, like that sucker is forged by heating and hammering over time and being able to take resistance. So number two, you got to be able to overcome your old stories. Your old stories are just that. They're old stories. They're not your new future. Number three, you got to remove resistance. You got to remove resistance. Like today, so many people are living within resistance, and they allow it. Like relationship resistance, communication resistance. Like, you got to be able to say, I'm not going to accept that resistance no more. And then guess what? The opposite to that also, you got to add resistance. Like I have these resistance. I don't know. Anybody have that X3 bar? Do you know that X3 bar thing? It's got these big bands on it. Just Google like X3 bar. Thing's incredible, man. You got these rubber bands and you like put it around your back in this bar and you push. And then all of a sudden, right? You got to push and it creates resistance. And by resistance actually creates a sense of power and strength. So one, you got to remove resistance, but in other areas, you actually have to increase resistance. I know I'm going quick. You just keep up with me and I'll stop and pause and say, what was the biggest one hitting for you that you needed to be reminded about? The next one, number 4, seek knowledge. Now what I'm going to share with you, I'm not sharing it to brag with you. I wish there was another alternative. I just didn't have it. I have now invested, it's got to be over $2.5 million in my own education over the last 15, 18 years. And I'm not kidding. Like I could show you receipts. This is not one of those things like somebody out there says it and it's not true. Like it's like $2.5 million. Why? Not just the quest for knowledge, the quest for connecting the dots. And I'll just tell you, if you're not investing in yourself, books are great. Like I got like 6 here that I'm reading at one time. There's like 4 next to my bed. Like I listen to 3 different things. Like I'm always connecting the dots. But you know what? When you seek knowledge, there's a difference between hearing, reading. And of course, I've written 17 books. So I hope you read books, but there's no substitute for this. The transmission of knowledge from one person to another person as close as we could be. Right now, because you're all over the world, this is as close as we can be, right? But that's so important to have that seeking the knowledge. And I'm going to give you one to add to that I have been on a quest on for a lot of my life is this: seeking my own truth. Write that down, everybody, for yourself. Seeking your own truth. Like just think of all your thoughts. Are they your thoughts or your mom's thoughts? Your thought or your dad's thoughts? Your thought or the president's thoughts? Whose thought is it? And if you could seek, and they say go deep inside, right? Deep inside of you, I promise, there's a truth in there, your truth. Now, if you choose to bring that truth to the world and show the world, that's a different thing. But I will tell you, if you could go on that quest of truth for you, like what's real, what's not real, type in the chat bar, does anybody think everything they taught you in school, everything they taught you about the war, who is the right side? I mean, just think of all the things, where you came from, the beginning. And I know I might strike a chord with some of you, but I'm not asking you to change your belief what you want. I'm just saying, do you think that that's truth? Like who gave it to you? Now, if you go deep inside and boom, it aligns with you and it's truth, then it's your truth. And that's what I love about that, being a seeker of knowledge. Number 5, mind growth. Mind growth, not mindset. You don't want mindset. Mindset means you're stuck. Your mind doesn't grow, it's set. You want mind growth, mind expansion. I hope tonight that your mind growth is I hit enough things that your brain is firing like, and it's just like, I help you create for you the new truth with an expanded mind of growth. And it's also, you have to grow past what you want to do next. Okay. Your mind has to grow past what you want to do next. Like when I was at $10 million, I couldn't grow my mind to 11 or 12. In order to go to 20, I needed to grow my mind past 20. I needed to grow it past 20. And then I could go from 10 million to 20. And I don't care if you own a business or a career. You're never going to be an owner of where you work or a director or a high-level executive if your mind growth is stuck in the position you're in. You must take that past that point. And you have to believe that you can do that. I got news for you. You can. You can. Number 6, it is like the life force of me. Martial arts. Anybody else martial arts here? I believe everybody should do some form of martial arts. Now, I don't care if it's Tai Chi and whatever it is. I just feel like martial arts, the way of centering yourself. Like, type in the chat bar, who needs more focus here? Who needs more focus? Who needs more discipline? I see hands going up, right? Martial arts will do that. The gift is, you know what the cool thing is today? Like, oh, it looks like Christina's coming in, another friend of mine. The thing about martial arts is like my son does it virtual. If any of you want to get hooked up with my son, he's amazing. He's an author of a book. He's incredible at martial arts. Like you could do it virtual and get on and like learn stuff. You couldn't do that years ago. You know, you couldn't do that years ago. And I'll just tell you that I love all the other things out there, but martial arts I found is a holistic thing for just building mind, body, and spirit. Now, I'm not talking about the MMA stuff. I like watching it, but at level 51, I have no interest in getting punched in the face or someone trying to choke me out, right? Like doesn't thrill me no more. If I have to do it, okay, fine. I don't choose to do that. I'm talking about just some real combat. Look, you're in a combat situation every day anyway. And for some of you, depending on where you live, like if you look at New Jersey today, like it's no masks, right? They said no masks. Oh, thank you for your blessing, world. But half of the people are still wearing it. So now who's upset with who? There's a good chance you're in a combat city. You don't even know. Or you're on Facebook? Let me ask you a question. Tell me on Facebook. Like, how many of you feel like you're in a constant state of combat on Facebook today? Right? You have to defend yourself everywhere. Even defending, listen to me closely on this one. You're constantly in a state of defending your mind. Did you get that? You're constantly in a state of defending your mind. Your mind is constantly being shot with things you want and don't want. And when you're hearing things you don't want, you need to defend against that and go, you know what? I'm moving it out. I'm moving it out. Number 7, identify your tribe, your inner circle. Know who's there. Know who is there. Like, I have a bunch of inner circles, and I don't let anybody I don't want to be around in that inner circle. You know why? I want to know who has my back, and I want them to know I have their back, right? It's super important. Like, I have this thing we call the Freedom Tribe. It's new this year. It's exclusive. It's all about just people that want to take their life, their wealth, their belief system, their mindset. They want to just re-engineer their human soul. It's called the Freedom Tribe, right? Like, I know who's in there. I know who I want in there, and I know who will never come in there. And like, you could only have so much success growth without personal growth. That's a huge lesson, right? And the way you'll get higher levels of personal growth, make sure you know your tribe you're around. Now, some tribe you can't choose. Maybe that's your family. Like some of them, maybe you just can't choose. But your success tribe, you could choose, right? You could choose. This one might sound like, okay, Mike, I get that, but let me share it with you anyway. I have a theory. If you want unlimited success on the power room, like outwork everyone else, just outwork them. But wait a second. Most people are like, oh, you mean grind it, or you mean like this, I'm grinding out life. No, here's what I mean. Turn what everybody says work and turn it into fun so it's not work. Like when they say love it, like really love it. Really love it. Love the culture, love the problems, love everything you're doing, and make it that it's fun to go there. Like I went to the CEO Warrior Business today. We got a 10,000 square foot building, and we're getting ready to go live in our building again. I hope any of you, who's been live there, type in live if you ever been live. If you haven't, I just want you to take the greatest experience you ever went to in your life at an event. I want you to multiply it by 10, and no shit, that's what one of our events are, right? It's Travis says, so true. It's like no joke. It's no joke. It is like you enter a realm of strength and power. So like when I was up there today and like we had the music, I did a little video and stuff in the room. Like I was just like, okay, this is what it's all about right here, this moment in time. So when you say outwork, it's really out fun and make sure everything else that you got to do is in there. What's up, Phil? Nice to see you, brother. Next one, move quickly and decisively. Move quickly and decisively. If you're pondering, okay, this should be, I think this is number 9. If you're pondering and you're thinking too long, you're losing opportunities. And I'm going to share with you today, right now, where we're heading in the world, at least for the next 2-3 years, is the greatest growth, human growth, business growth, family growth. If you're on the spiritual realm and you do that, spiritual growth, healing growth, we are at the convergence of everything. It is a great time to be alive. But if you're waiting to move, you're waiting for your best future. You are. And I'm going to tell you, you got to start moving quicker, because if you're not moving, someone else is stepping in. You know, I remember I'm one of those people, like I'm in line and I'm just like, it's like this. When I drive, my wife's always like, she's like, man, you're going to hit so much traffic. And I'm like, even today, she's like, you're going to hit a lot of traffic. And I'm like, no. And there was a ton of fucking traffic. But you know what? Like, I just don't see it. You know why? I'm thinking, I'm listening to things. But you know what? As I'm driving, I'm thinking, and like fucking people, I don't know if there's traffic or I just let everybody get in front of me. I have no idea, right? But that's what you're doing. If you're not paying attention and moving quickly and decisively, you're letting people step in front of you in line. Until I knew I had to get home for 6 o'clock, then I was like, oh shit, no one's coming in front. I'm like, there's no room for anybody there. Number 10, and then I'm going to ask you for what's your biggest one on the first 10 here, is building it daily. Building it daily. What does that mean? I want you to build you daily. I want you to build your career daily. I want you to build your relationship daily. I want you to build your connection to your belief daily. And I was just on a podcast. I don't know if anybody listened to it. It seems like a really good podcast. It's called Built to Sell. I was on a couple of them. I was on Ethan's podcast too. Ethan, type in your podcast. And every now and then I'm on a podcast and people want to tell me, they're like, tell me, Mike, with all this success and all this wealth and everything, what is your morning like, right? And I'm like, oh, you're going to love this, okay? I wake up like, I don't know, 7:30, 8, whenever I wake up, and I grab my cell phone and I start fucking off on Facebook and checking it. And then I check my Aura ring and they're like, what do you mean? Don't you like get up at 3 a.m. and meditate for 4 hours? And don't you do all this stuff? And I'm like, no, I don't do any of that stuff. I don't do it. I get up, I check things, I get up, I get ready, and then boom, I go. But it is my prime time. Now that's not on the list, but you should write it down. You should write it down. Like, it is my prime time. I don't meditate in my prime time. I don't weightlift in my prime time. You know what I do? I create and empower. I create and I empower. And people on my team, like Aaron, who's on my team, and Ken's on my team, they know, like, when it's go time in the morning, like, I don't do all that other stuff. I move mountains. Now, I'm not telling you I love meditation. I don't have a set time I do it. I find a moment to do it. When that moment is right, that's when I do it. I'm not telling you my guidelines here are right or wrong. I'm just sharing with you, like, whose belief system do you want to follow? Your tested belief system or someone else's belief system? And you should try things until they become your true thing, right? Number 11. Oh, let's stop there. What's been your biggest one so far? You guys are writing like mad. Travis, what's happening? Michelle, Christina, nice to see you. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Such a great friend. Oh, your mom. She said your mom, Gemma said your mom's, well, I don't know where she is. Guadalupe, nice to see you. Big hug, big hug. And so let's see, what has been your, we're just on 10 here. Remove resistance, move quickly and decide. Yeah, whose thought is that? Move quickly, yeah, and decisively. Outfun everyone, yeah, move quickly, move quick. All right, we are doing good here, everybody. We are doing really good. All right, number 11, energy. Energy. Now, sometimes people, there's a couple types of people. There's those that have to fake the energy. And then when you see them on the, like you see them on the weekend or something, you bump in the grocery store, you're like, did you ever do that? You bump into someone, you're like, who, like, where's that guy? Where's that person? Right? That's not the person I knew. Well, who you see is who you get here. It's self-produced, live within energy. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is not easy, but I'm going to tell you the part that's not easy. Like, I used to love caffeine. I mean, love it. I had a whole routine, pull into Dunkin' Donuts in the morning. I never drank coffee because I never liked it, but unsweetened iced tea, big one. You got to buy the serious one, like an elephant can drink it, right? And then you got to put like 4 sugars in that thing. So when you drink it, you're just like caffeine. Look, Ken's like, what? Yeah, you're like caffeine and jacked up on sugar. And then I was like this. I was like, one day we were on vacation, me and my wife, and I couldn't there was no Dunkin' Donuts. Now, I don't know why the hell I didn't think to like make some tea and put ice and do it. And as I was coming, have any of you ever come off caffeine? Tell me what happened to you in the chat bar. Did you ever come off caffeine? And some of you that have your cameras off, unless you're naked, feel free to turn your cameras on, okay? So yeah, massive headache, right? Like I thought I had like suicidal thoughts. It was that bad. It was so painful. I said to myself that day, I'll never drink caffeine again. And I haven't drank caffeine. It's got to be like 12, 13 years now. No caffeine. Okay. I don't do any type of, I don't do it because when I came off of that, I said, there's got to be something wrong with that. Like, no, maybe you shouldn't have that. Right. The second thing is, and this is why I say like getting energy is hard until it becomes easy. Remember the resistance? Like sometimes you got to add resistance, sometimes you got to remove it. So I removed gluten out of anybody else gluten-free here, but by choice, not because you have, yes, I'm raising their hand, not because you have celiac, because you chose it, right? My wife doesn't, like, she can't do the gluten thing. It's not good for her. So I said, I'll do gluten. Chris Porton, what's up, brother? Yeah, it's like, I don't know, 10, 11 years now. Now, I'm an Italian. Type in Italian. Any other Italians here? We love fucking gluten. Are you kidding me? I used to eat garlic bread, and if I had a choice, I would tell them, put fucking extra gluten in that thing. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm like from pasta town, you know, my grandmother and my dad's family, like, you know, everything was big Italians. If you ever watched the show, the old school movie, some of you look really young, but do any of you remember the movie Fatso? Do you remember this? This is a classic. If you don't, you should. All right. Gabby says, yeah, right. This is hilarious. That's my uncles, right? That's what, like, they would rip a cabinet off to like, that Chinese food was never making it home with my uncles. But here's what I'm going to tell you about energy. Once you remove the resistance and you own it, I will tell you, your life becomes unstoppable. It really does. You become superhuman. It's like you are superhuman, and that's what it's like. And yeah, I believe in doing all the breathing and stuff. I'm just telling you, when you remove those resistance, you don't need to do that breathing on a regular basis. You don't have to do the cold showers. You don't need to do half of the things you're being told. You do need to do that when you don't have self-driven internal energy. So I hope some of you will take this and just make sure you're not, well, make sure you're not alone when you're coming off caffeine, but definitely give them a stun gun to hit you with if they have to, okay? If you get like raged out or anything. All right, number 12, loyalty. Loyalty is everything, right? Loyalty. You got to be loyal to your friends, right? You got to be loyal to your relationship. You know, my wife has me watching this one show. She'll type it in. It's one of these Netflix series. I don't know. Does anybody know? It's like a bunch of women, and she'll type it in. Jen, unmute yourself. What's it called we're watching?
Working Moms.
Oh, Working Moms. Does anybody watch that? Are you like judging me for watching that now, Working Moms thing or something? Like it's got so many funny parts to it, right? But there's a part in there where there's loyalty. All right, you watch it. Yeah. Loyalty is challenged. And like anybody, he's judging. Yeah, you should so judge. Well, I don't watch the Desperate Housewives, Steve, you know, I don't do that, but I guess I'm watching the Working Moms. And you know, I don't know. Some of it's really just, it's interesting, some of the stuff. But you want to test your own loyalty, right? That works so good when you have loyalty in business and loyalty in life, and people respect that. Number 13, empathy, right? Empathy, like having a sense of that feeling for somebody else, right? And empathy for their situation, empathy for what they're going through. And along with empathy comes like support, that you could support them with that. You know, I look at the world today and I don't care what you want to do. Like if you want to get vaccine, don't get vaccine. You want to live in the woods, live in a high rise, you want to drive a Lamborghini or drive a bicycle. Like, you know what? If that fits your life, and as long as you're not killing, hurting, harming, I'm like, that's perfect, right? It's perfect for you. But you know, the world is in a sense of where they're just so judgmental today on everything, right? This is such a judgment of how they look. And I mean, I live the world, right? Because I'm a tattooed guy. Who else has tattoos? Type in tattoos in the chat bar. Oh, the hands went up. All right. Who's like craving a tattoo? Another one, right? You just want one. Like I'm a tattoo artist. You may not know that about me. So I've done a bunch of tattoos on myself. Those of you that are not tattooed, you still have time. You know that, right? Like you could just get one if you want. But once you get one, that's it, right? It's all over. Like anybody here, like, does anybody on here only have one tattoo? I'm really curious about this. Like, this is like I get to survey you while you hang out with me or something. Clean skin. Oh boy. One tattoo, huh? Well, that was a traumatizing experience probably or something. Yeah, most people don't have one. Regret it? No, don't cover the bitch up. Don't, you know, regret carries an energy, right? And at that time, it made sense, even if it's a reminder of what to never fucking do again, right? Yeah, remove the energy of regret. right? And when you learn more about energy, which is a big part of my world and stuff, we did a whole, was anybody here that did the Seekers of Power training? Type in if you did that. I mean, it was 5 weeks, 2 nights a week. It was everything I know about power, energy, and just it's mind blowing. Like, you just don't want to carry the energy of regret there. Number 14, relentless. Being relentless. If you're going to start something, do it, and do it with everything in your life force, right? Go for it. Relentless will push you through and over the top of the mountain. It will. It'll push you to the top. When you're not relentless, that's when everything else is pushing against you and you stop. Most people that start businesses, they stop 1 month too early, right? They stop one person too early, and they just don't push through it. See, when you have a belief system inside you that you know whatever you decide, you're gonna do it. I don't care when anybody else tells you like they're gonna do it. I'll tell you something interesting. When I first started CEO Warrior, and some of you will remember this because you've been in my world a long time, I used to go out there and do these posts on Facebook. I used to call myself the business ninja because I've trained in ninjutsu and stuff. So I thought, oh, that's cool. I'm the business ninja. And I was just giving free information. And Natasha, you know what they did? People were making fun of me out there. They were laughing. And I was like, okay. You know what I did? More relentless in. Nobody laughs now because I changed the whole industry. I've changed the whole industry. Now nobody's laughing. But in the beginning, they did. And my relentlessness, it didn't make me angry. It just gave me momentum. And think about that a minute. Instead of anger, momentum. That's all it did. And now, actually, I wanted to tell Aaron, I just got an email from a friend of mine that said, hey, do you want to talk, go and be a speaker at this thing? And like Disney speaks there and all these big, let me see what he said here. All these big, what is it? Let's see who speaks here. Garmin, Six Flags, New York Times. These are all the people that speak at this thing. And you know what? It's just being relentless, right? It's being relentless and moving and moving forward. Not Mike Disney, the Disney World. All right, number 15 here, transformation. Okay. Motivation is okay, but motivation goes away. Okay. I know a lot of people that go to events, right? We don't, I guess for the name, like a lot of people, I went to him. I like his events. Tony Robbins, he does a great job. It's motivation. There's not always transformation, right? You have to be a certain person to get the transformation. Transformation, just so you know, is permanent. It's permanent. You never think different again. Motivation, guess what happens? Monday morning comes, you're the same person you were. It rewinds itself right back. You're looking for everybody around, like where the hell did they all go, right? Everybody that was clapping, dancing, hugging you, they're all gone. And now you're depressed, upset. I mean, do you know how much, and maybe it's some here, and I don't say it to trigger anything, you know how much anxiety, depression, trauma, guilt people are living with today from childhood, from last year, from old relationships? Do you know how devastating this is? Do you know how many people suffer with like ringing in their ear and stuff, which is a total energetic problem that's happening? I mean, this is what goes on. You want transformation and go as deep as you can. My wife said in there, yeah, shame. I mean, and you don't have to point yourself out, but we all know carrying shame and guilt. I guess I was a bad mom. I guess I was a bad dad. I guess I was a bad wife. I guess I was a bad husband. You may not even believe it, but do you believe it deep inside, right? Number 15, there's always another level. There is. There's always another level for you. No matter what age, what level you at, there's no age parameter on level, right? When I was 25 or 26, I sold a $1 million question. And Jed, hold those up or tee them up with Aaron, and then I'll stop. And if you guys have a question, I'll dig in on them. Okay. And I don't know, it's 26, 27, and I sold $1 million job, right? Tattooed guy, cut off jean shorts, guinea tee. What else should an Italian wear back then, right? My uniform was a logoed guinea tee. And, I'm sitting there in front of 20 people in suits. You know what? There's always another level. And as long as you want to get to the level, you have to see yourself at that level. Just see yourself there. Create that identity for yourself. Stop looking at yourself as and in the world today, I hear people that say, oh, I'm just a mom. I'm like, you're just a mom? That's what you think? The role of impacting your child so that they carry the impact and the lessons you give for the rest of their life to keep them safe, to make them think a different way. That's all you do. You're the greatest fucking mentor teacher on the planet, right? But people have been programmed to think that's not another level. There's another level there. 17. Are we doing good? Type in, are we doing good? 17, warrior. It's okay. So it's a name of a business I built and started 7 years ago. I was a warrior way before I created that. Okay. That came out of who I was deep inside, but almost forgot. I've been a warrior since I'm 15 years old. I've been a warrior. Since in my own world, I had to survive. I had to find a way to live and find a way to succeed and find a way to break boundaries that I felt was put against me. And that warrior was coming out through all the martial arts, all the training, all the life experiences. Now, I don't care if you want to be like Mulan, the woman princess warrior, or you want to be like Spartan 300, right? Every single person deep inside, I don't think, you tell me, does anybody go like this? I hope tomorrow morning I wake up and I'm really weak. I'm really inferior. I feel like I'm useless. And yeah, I just want to live a really mediocre life. I don't think anybody wakes up that way. I think they wake up and they go, tomorrow, or maybe you should think that, I want to wake up and be stronger than I ever was, more powerful than I ever was, smarter than I ever was. Set that intention for yourself. Okay, next one. And then when I get to 20, I'll ask the big one and I'll ask the question, okay? Number 18. It's one of my favorite words. Favorite word. Who knows my favorite word? Type it in. Some of you have been in my world a long time, so you probably know my favorite word. No, not boom. That's a good word I use, but that's not it. Come on. I'll give you not caffeine. Come on. It starts with an M. My wife typed in Jennifer. I thought someone else did that. Okay, Travis gets it. Marketing's a good word. Marketing will solve almost all problems. Mastery. Favorite word. You know why? Mastery is being better tomorrow than you were today. I learned that through martial arts. If you go for mastery, you're at the top of your game. You're at the top of everything you do when you have that internal quest of mastery. And the greatest masters of the world know that there's always another level of mastery. There's always another level of mastery. If there was a word to write down, put on your screensaver, write on your mirror in the morning, just look at that word and ask yourself, what's the one thing that I want to do mastery at today? And if you just chunk it down that way, man, life will just change so fast. It'll just change so fast. All right. Well, let me give you my summary, because this was the numbers, the amount of them I put under power was 18. Let me give you the summary, then we'll open for questions. But if you just did these 18 things, tell me what would happen to your human power. Tell me in the chat bar, what would happen? How would you live just with those 18 things? And Aaron, if I lose track of numbers, you just unmute and be like, Mike, you lost track, because I never know. Unstoppable. would expand. Yeah. What else? What would these 18 things do for you? Powerful, phenomenal life. I'd fucking own the space. Of course you will. You will own the space. Change maker, extraordinary life, off the charts. Okay, good. All right. So if we do a summary of what power is, here's what I look at it. First, build a new, better self. Write that down. That's your summary. Like, I'm going to build a new, a new level self. Like, I'm going to take myself always to the next level. And I get it. Look, everybody has something they deal with. You might be like, Mike, you don't understand. I have this thing. I have a bad arm, a bad knee, I get it. People have things. They're only a restriction when you choose it to be a restriction. It's only a restriction. You can win past all restrictions. I promise you. You're built to heal. You're built to power. You're built to overcome. Forget about what everybody else tells you is possible. You're built for that possibility. Okay. Number 2 of summary here, never stop leveling up. That's what I learned. Never stop leveling up. Just constantly go for the next level of yourself. And if you don't know what the next level is, get someone who asks really good questions. Enter a world. Do something. And I'm not here to pitch you anything we're doing, but if I'm doing a training and you think that's what's going to up level you up, like we're finishing next week's our last week. Who's doing unlocking the wealth code anyway? Type in wealth if you're doing the wealth code training. And if you are, tell everybody what it's like. Tell me tell them what it's done for you. Like maybe if something like that fits you, do it. If not, ask me. I'll find something else that fits you from someone else, right? All right. Now who wants to ask the question that came up?
Shane had a question, and Shane, I've just given you the power to unmute.
Aaron has all the power tonight.
I do. Well, quite a bit of it.
All right. What do you got, Shane?
Hey, thanks, Mike. Hey, just the one about the motivation to transformation. Like, what's one piece of advice that you could give to that's really effective to turn motivation into transformation? Like, is it just implementation or is there something deeper?
Yeah. So motivation, if you look at that, that's a temporary emotion, right? It's a temporary emotion. Like I play a song, you're motivated, song goes away, motivation goes away, it dies down, right? Transformation is when you live in that state of the emotion all the time. So imagine I live in a state of excitement all the time or energy. I don't need to go to a dance party to find energy. Energy is deep inside. That's transformation. It's there always with me, right? Motivation is when it's triggered by something. Is that helpful, Shane? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So what was from the power one, why don't you just type in, what's the one that hit you the most that you're going to take action on? Because if you've been in my world at all, or you're brand new, like I'm not here. I want you to have a good time. But I want you to leave with something you're going to do, right? I want you to leave with something you're going to take, just like you're going to own it and you're going to move forward on it. All right. Mastery. Yeah, I love it. Be relentless. Yeah, these are all great. Eliminate resistance. Transformation. Yeah, all great stuff. All great stuff. All right, we're going to go into freedom. Okay, into freedom. And freedom is one of my favorite things because, my wife and I, we haven't had a mortgage since we're 28 years old, right? That given us a whole sense of freedom. And I'm level 51, so you could do the math. And I'll just tell you, freedom comes in a lot of different ways. But number 19 about freedom is this: write your own story. Write your own story. If you can't write the story, it's hard to live the story you want. Okay. And you could have dreams, but just so you know, the word dream is something you have in your sleep that when you wake up, it goes away. The word alone is not a great word, right? It's like goal. Goal is not a good word. It's not. You know why? because so many people I have a goal to lose 10 pounds. And then you don't lose all 10 pounds. So goal becomes a word that is a failure word. When you don't have a dream, but you have a written story, I'm going to write my story that I will live. Well, see, then it's almost like a documented blueprint, isn't it? And your brain's trained to do the documented blueprint. That's what it's made. It's like, you mean this story I have to live? You're like, yes, you have to live it. It's like, okay, let's do this. That's how it works. Now, it doesn't mean you don't some of you let your story get fucking hijacked, right? Yeah, Travis said, yeah, I don't like goal. I like target. Target's a destination and time. So write your story, live your story. Don't let the world hijack your story. Don't let them hijack your story. It's interesting because this COVID thing has been so bad for everybody. And yeah, I miss live events, but like, I'm an introvert. Anybody else an introvert? Type in introvert if you are. If you're an introvert, this fucking pandemic's been pretty fucking cool in a lot of ways, hasn't it? I mean, like, I'm not around a ton of people. I'm really comfortable in my own little fucking world. Like, I can live in a cave, right? I'm like, this has been pretty, like, I didn't go to stores as much, which I never liked going to anyway. Like, this is a great world for me, right? Write your story, live your story. Number 20, okay? Open your mind to a new belief, experiences, and perspectives. Open your mind to new beliefs, experiences, and perspectives. When you open your mind to, like, I am naturally a very curious, well, my wife is too. Like, one of our favorite things years ago was like to get ice cream and sit in our car outside Walgreens and just watch people. Is that creepy? Is that like fucking weird or something? But like we drive, we live down by the boardwalk is down that way. And like, we just drive and watch people. And it's just like fascinating, right? It's so fascinating for like how they are. And there's like a new belief gets open, like, and I'm that guy. Like, one time I was at an event and I was in line with a guy who looked like a wolf. No joke. He had wolf teeth, wolf eyes. He was intense looking and nobody would stand next to him. And I was like, oh my God, this is my next best friend right here, right? This guy's, I walked up, I said, you got to tell me your story. I said, what are you? Who are you? He's like, I'm a wolf. And I was like, fucking fascinating. Tell me all about this. And now he's telling me how he's this wolf. And I was like, this is cool. And then he goes like this, can I share something with you? I'm like, oh my God, share it. What are you going to share with me? He's like, you've been having problems in your shoulder. I'm like, what? I'm like, this shoulder, it's been bothering me forever inside. He's like, I could take care of that. And I was like, fucking do it. And he like just did this little thing and the pain was gone. And I was like, oh my God, you're like my wolf healer now. Right. And I was like, this is what he said. Yeah, I partnered with him. Yeah, I did. He was my friend. He's my wolf friend. And like, but the fact was, I was open to a new belief. And then I got this gift of learning through his paradigm. You know what's cool about it? Fuck this new norm shit. Any of you want to live a normal life? Is that what nobody wakes up and goes, you know what? I hope I live the most normal, basic, boring ass, like no. Open your mind. Okay, number 21. You're only as inspired as your new vision of the future. You're only as inspired as your new vision. So we have back here where we wrote our story, and as we're living our story, you're going to connect a dot and you're going to see a bigger vision. You're going to go, oh my goodness, I have to add that to my story now. I'm going to add that bigger vision to my story. This is going to be amazing. All right. Number 22. I see you're writing like mad to keep up with me here. Okay. Purposeful intent in everything you do. I always ask people, like, what are our intentions for today? Like, what are your intentions? All of you came here and you either have a spoken or an unspoken intention. And when you put purposeful intent behind something, it's like, if you thought, like, first, when you decided to come here, what was your intent? Type it in the chat bar. What was your intent? Like, was it to learn something? Was it just to hang out with me? Was it just to have some fun? Like, what was it? To learn, to grow, learn and hang out, rewire beliefs, grow knowledge. Yeah, so that's your intent. Here's the next thing. What's your intent now that we're already on? We're going for number 23. Like, what's your intent now? Because your intent can change. It's like, I wanted to come and grow. Now my intent is not grow, it's expansion, right? Applying knowledge. Very nice. Be better, mastery. See how your intent, but when you have purposeful intent, you have purpose. You have purpose at another level. Okay, number 23, high standards. Okay, high standards. This is, this is wanting to be a better self. This is wanting to do a better thing, wanting to give in a larger way. Those are your standards. I have high standards. And look, high standards come, with a gift and sometimes a curse. Because when you have high standards and you feel like you didn't meet them, you could feel like you're letting yourself down. But when you have high standards, knowing that you're doing the best you can, well, then you don't ever feel let down. You feel like, I always tell people, like when I did the webinar earlier today, and the same thing when I'm done with this, I guarantee you, I have a phrase I always say, I left it all on the mat. I came here to give you everything I got this afternoon. The one I did at 3 o'clock, I went at it to give it everything I got. That was my high standards. Like, I was not going to bring you garbage here. I was bringing you very well thought out stuff that has impacted, changed, created freedom for me, power for me. Okay. Number 24, 360-degree improvement. Impact all areas of your life. It has to be, we have a wheel of life that we have in the food dog business. Some of you have saw it before, and you need 360-degree approach. If those of you, well, who's a business owner? Type in business owner. And if you're not a business owner, type in career. Okay, ton of business owners here, right? Ton of business owners. Okay, if you focus everything on your business and not on your relationship, I will tell you, there's a good possibility you'll end up with a relationship problem. If you focus everything on your business and not on your health, I promise you might end up with a health problem, right? Like, if you don't holistically look at it, and I'm talking to myself too, because like, I could be so focused on one thing and ignore the world. Anybody else? Like, you could go so down that rabbit hole and you forget all the family rabbits above, right? And so you have to have a reminder to constantly look at that. Look at your wealth, look at your health, look at your business, right? Look at your relationships, look at your community. Keep going back to that. Okay, 360-degree. 25, humility. Be humble enough to learn from others. Because I'm in this world of speakers, I have another speaking thing I'm going to do in October, and I got all these speaking things coming up. I end up behind the curtains with people, right? And I've been on stage with Brian Tracy and Larry Winget and Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, and Jay Abraham. And I'll just tell you, like, most of those people are really, really good. But I've been with other people that speak, and you know what? They're so stuck on themselves, they think they can't learn from anybody else. There's no humbleness in them at all. There's no humility in them. And when you're around them, you find out really quick that who you think they are. Have you ever met, tell me in the chat, did you ever meet somebody and who you thought they were? They're just not that person, right? They're just not that person. Number 25, be an experiment. But I'm going to say that with caution. Try new ideas, but try new ideas that you feel are like beneficial for you, right? Like it could be a new way to sleep, right? It could be like, I remember, I don't know if anybody uses it. Does anybody use Inside Tracker? And I don't know if we got people all over the world here, but in the US, and I think they're outside the US, Inside Tracker is a place that will like, they come to your house, they take your blood, and they run all these markers for you, right? Because the doctors tell you, oh, everything's good, you're within range. 3 months later, they're like, oh shit, you got a problem. You're like, I was just in range. They were like, do you ever have this happen to you? They're like, oh, you were borderline. You didn't say borderline, you said within range, right? So like Inside Tracker, I did it as an experiment. Now, we won't have the time at the end of this, but you would be humored if I told you. Did anybody ever pass out from getting blood? I'm just curious. Can you say yes if you did? All right. Oh my God. Thank God. All right. Some of you did. So Simon, I won't have time for this story, but I did. Richmond's like laughing. He's like, you are so telling me this story. Maybe at the end, if you remind me, I'll tell you how the tattooed guy like blacked out getting blood in his house. It's a crazy story. All right, but we got to save that. All right. But be an experiment is maybe experiment. I'm not telling you to do psychedelics and things and, drink Coca-Cola and stuff. I'm telling you things that you think will benefit you. 27. All right. Supreme belief in self, right? To do what needs to be done in a situation. What does that mean? Supreme belief. Start trusting yourself more. Okay. Trust yourself, your inner self, your heart's self, your soul's self, your energetic self. It really knows all the answers for you. I think it's something that I don't know if Gabrielle is still on. Oh, she is. I was chatting with her earlier today. She said everything she needs is within her. And I said, now, everything you need to heal yourself is within you now. See, now is a command saying, go there, show me, use it. And so I want you to start asking yourself. Now, women are really good at this because their supreme belief inside, they always say, my gut, right? Some men are good at it. I'm not so good at my gut. I'm a very logical, tactical thinker. If my wife says, don't hire that person, it's probably a very good decision not to hire it, even though I don't always listen. And then she's like, well, and I'm like, she don't want to say she told me so, but like, I got it, right? Some of you have that. Your gut just gurgles. It's like bad people thing, right? All right, 28. You guys are doing amazing here. You're doing amazing. I tell you, your brain's you're probably not going to sleep, but those of you that it's early during the day, you're going to run around all day. All right, 28, dependable. All right. Show up and do what the hell you say you're going to do. Like, I am so key on being dependable. Like, if we have a time, like be there for the time. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, show up, dependability. And it's not on the list, but I'm going to tell you what dependability falls under. And it is the only thing you have at the end of the day. I would imagine it's why a lot of you are here. It's called reputation. Reputation. Your reputation is everything today, right? It's everything today, reputation. And you want to build your reputation. And the way you do that is, guess what? One of the things is be dependable. Be dependable. Be there for people. Reach out to people without them, asking you to reach out. Think about people. Like if someone, like all of you right now, I want you just to take 1 second, just 1 second, and just think of somebody that comes to your mind that you should just check in on today. All right. Write that person down. And when we're done tonight, just check in on them. Okay. Just like, hey, I was just thinking of you. I'm just checking in on you. And I get people, because I check in on people, I get people check in on me all the time. They just reach out and they're like, just checking in on you. And I'm like, wow, thank you. Like, that's nice to know you were thinking of me. Like, it's nice to know I'm not alone, right? All right, 29, experience new things, stretch yourself. Now, this was a long time ago, and I've been doing it for years. And Christine has come to my house, Chris Bourne, like, I I did firewalking. Who's done firewalking? Type it in. Who's done firewalking? A bunch of you. Okay. And who has built their own firewalks and did it themselves? Are there any firewalk instructors here or anything? Okay. So like that was a new experience for me. Like I became a firewalk instructor and we do break and arrows on our neck and we take these needles and stick it through our hands and like glass walking and like trust falls and all these wild things, right? And I've been doing them for a lot of years, but I had to do it myself, right? And has anybody done that needle through the hand thing? No, it's really not my favorite one. I did tell you I passed out from the fucking needle, right? So it's not my favorite one, but you like stick this needle. Richmond, we'll like do it with your whole group one time or something. Like, you know, you and what's his name's group, like your high level groups will just get them the needles and we'll put it through their hands. No, it's really a crazy experience, but it's not my favorite one. I'm just telling you, but you got to experience new things. Number 30, connection. Emotional connection with one person and bringing together the right people for connection. Like people that are open-minded, people that are not judgmental, people that want to serve each other, like real connection. This has been, and don't get me wrong, even though I'm an introvert, I still love connection. I love connection and I'm a hugger. So if you're around me, you're going to get a hug, right? It's just, that's who I am. Or a fist bump. If I fist bump you, you probably didn't earn a hug yet. We don't know each other enough yet, right? But connection is being able to be in that environment, right? Be in that environment where you're feeling it. And this world has become very disconnected, right? Like people that suffer with, depression, it's a connection problem, right? It's a connection thing is what happens there. And so think about yourself. What connection do you need? What connection do you need? All right, number 31. And then I'm going to ask what your big one is then after this next bracket here. And we're not done yet on this bracket. 31 is mind control. There's two parts of mind control. Okay. One part is you to control your own mind. You're in charge. The other part of mind control is don't let other people do it. The world is, if anybody's ever studied, and I've studied like a lot. So like I've studied NLP with Richard Bandler, and I've learned tapping, and I've learned energetic healing, and I've learned like so many things throughout my life, right? And hypnosis. And one thing is the first time I went to learn all that was to solve myself. The second learning that I wanted was I learned that if I could solve myself, I could help others. The third thing I wanted to know was to defend myself against mind control and hypnotic commands through news, through radio. Do any of you know that this is happening? Type in, if you know this is happening. Sequence of words, sequence of sounds, sequences of images, sequences of colors. Why do you think people are flocking to do things? I bet almost everyone here, tell me if this is true. I bet almost everyone here has a family member that has done something in the last year that shocked the shit out of you that they did it. You were like, I can't believe you did it. Tell me if that's true in the chat bar. Has somebody done something you're like, I cannot believe you went and did that, drank that, took the test, whatever it is? You know why? Mind control commands. They would have never did that 2 years ago. So why now? You're like, what happened? Well, I just thought I would. I felt I'd be this. I thought it's all mind control. It's all mind control. So it's very important. 31. All right. 32. Coaching. Now, look, I like coaching, but I'm a big believer in collaborative coaching. I'll tell you what I mean. I'm not a big believer in one-on-one coaching unless it's a real specific individual need. Otherwise, I believe you should be in an environment where it's a one-to-many delivery, because you get as much value out of hearing somebody be coached as you do getting coached yourself. Does that make sense? Type that in the chat bar if that makes sense. Like that you get a lot of value at watching someone else's breakthroughs. When you watch someone else's breakthroughs, guess what happens? You create your own breakthrough. You create your own breakthrough by watching their breakthrough. I had my own lessons when I was coaching someone yesterday. Yeah, right? When you teach others, you teach yourself, right? This is like, I've gotten reminders for myself going through this huge list here. All right, number 33 here, 33, breakthroughs. Okay. Breakthrough is your quest. And you're searching for the next breakthrough, but you have to know the breakthrough you want. So like, if all of you said this to yourself, you said, hey, I want to have a breakthrough in one aspect of my life, type in what would be the area of your life you want the breakthrough in. Health, relationship, spiritualness, what would you want? Relationship, finances, health, wealth, right? So I'm going to give you my formula for breakthrough. First, be clear and identify the breakthrough you need. Number two, find who has a track record of doing those breakthroughs. Number three, find a way to work with that person until you get your breakthrough. Like, that's exactly what I do. It's exactly what I do. What do I want to break through next? Right? I wanted to break through understanding energy on a whole nother level. I went and said, what's the breakthrough? I want to understand. I do this thing where we learn how to build. There's not enough time here for it, but if you guys are interested, hit me up. I'll tell you what's going on in the future. I don't even know the dates of anything anyway, but I wanted to find out, how can you build a code out of your own understanding and knowledge that this code, this image and number code, literally would solve anything for you. And it took me like over a year to find somebody. And I finally found a Russian guy who doesn't speak good English, and he knows the theory of these codes. And so like, I paid him and said, I want to know the theory of these codes. Boom, he connected a dot for me. By him connecting a dot on that, I had the breakthrough. And then I've been going to him saying, holy crap, check this out. I did this and put this together. And he's like, whoa, that's really cool. And now it's like, we're having breakthroughs together, me and him, right? So I look for the breakthrough. My breakthrough moves me forward. I get a breakthrough. I bring him my breakthrough. It moves him forward. And now we're like, and because he has humility and he's willing, he's willing to learn too, as I am, we are just hitting another level. So that's how I deal with breakthroughs. Number 34. Okay. Write this down. Student to sensei. And just in case you don't know what sensei is one who went before. Student is somebody who wants to learn to someday be at the point where they can teach, right? Which is sensei. Once you're a sensei, the next goal is what they, in my world of martial arts, what I am today, they call me Hanshi. Hanshi is a teacher of teachers. That's what a Hanshi is. And you don't have to use the martial arts terms, but that's the world I like. I have people that trained with me when they were like 10 years old, and now they're like 25. And when I see them, they still call me sensei today. They still call me sensei, right? Because, and I look at that natural teaching progression for yourself, right? Be a student, get to the point you could teach. Once you become a teacher of teachers, right? A teacher of teachers. Okay, number 35. This one is family, right? So family is so important. I'll give you a phrase for family. Most people tell me, if I say, what would you do for your family? They say, I would die for my family. I'd kill for my family. And I always say one thing to think about your family. If you would die or kill for them, live for them. Live for them. Step up and live your greatest life for them. Be the model, the best model example for them, right? And that's what you want to do for family. Like when I think of like, and I haven't done everything right. There's a lot of things, if I could, I would, it's so interesting. Me and my wife talk about like, some people you say, what would you do different? Knowing what you know now, they're like, I wouldn't change anything about my life. I'm like, hell no, I would change a whole bunch of shit. I would go back and like, there was no need. Like that was not a badge of honor. Yes, I learned something. Could I've gotten still where I'm at without that lesson? Yeah, of course I could have. Of course I could have, right? Probably along with this lesson is your real response versus your programmed response. Your real response, what your real truth is versus life's programmed response. Program is, and I've asked this to people, what would you change or go back? I wouldn't change anything. Okay, is that your real response or your programmed response? Let's go back to when you got beat up by your dad or your mom, or you got bullied in school. If you could go back, you think that built character for you? It moved you further? I could already tell you're still carrying that in your mind. Okay, do you still want to live with it? Then okay, celebrate it. They're like, no, you want to remove it? No, let's go remove that thing. Let's go reprogram, pull it out of your energetic field, kill some psychic cords, whatever we got to do with it, right? But when you go back to that family dynamic, you want to know that like you're the model of thinking different. And as they grow up, like my son is 22. Well, he'll be 22. In case you guys don't know, my son was born 5 weeks early on my birthday. And, right. But like I've been a martial arts model for him. And now he runs his own martial arts and combat. And he's been an author. My daughter's 19. If any of you are looking for yoga, like my daughter is so, does anybody here do yoga with my daughter? Type it in the chat bar if you do. She is so gifted at yoga. And like, I'd like to think that we were able to be a model of like, me working hard, me caring about people, me demonstrating. Oh, there's my beautiful daughter. There you are. Hey, Caitlin. Here she is. I was just talking about you. And so, if you're a model for your family, then your family will remember those modeling things you do. All right, number 36. Okay. Welcome others as if they are family. And I put a note here. My grandmother Agugliaro was one of these grandmothers that was like, well, she was Italian, so she was really big, and she always wore a house dress. And every time it didn't matter who I brought to her house, she was like, oh, sit down, eat. And she'd just be bringing like Danishes and pasta and trying to shove meatballs in your mouth and like, right. And that's what Grandma Agugliaro was. She was just like she actually, someone stole money out of her closet one time. And she was just like, oh, they're good. They're okay. I'm like, Grandma, they stole money out of your shoebox, for God's sakes. I want to choke them to death. Oh, leave them alone. They must have needed it, right? She always welcomed everybody in as they were family. Like they always had something to drink. They always had something to eat. And God, I had to tell my partner one time, he's like, I'm not hungry. I'm like, eat it. You'll offend her. Just shove it in your mouth, swallow it, right? And that's how she was. And I think it's a really good model. I think when you meet people, like, and I'm going to give you something that I think about here. I always think about when I meet new people, and I hope I've led this for a lot of you that have been in my life for a long time, or if you're fairly new in my world. Like I always believe, like after you meet me and we meet each other, I just want you to be a little better off after we met than you were before we spent time together. That's it. I think if you just look at that, like if everybody you met, it doesn't matter if it's in the bagel store or wherever you're at, if you just met somebody and said, man, I feel like they're a little better off now that I've helped them or hugged them or said, how you doing today? I think it's a great way. Number 37, impact. We're getting there, everybody. You're doing amazing. Impact. like crave impact in the world, everybody. If you're a business owner, go for impact. I promise impact will always earn you more wealth, more freedom, financial freedom if you go for impact than if you strive for money. Impact is going to make, like, it always comes back so many different ways. Like somebody on here, I don't know, maybe the impact that I make tonight, one of you might be dealing with anxiety. Maybe it'll go away. Maybe one of you were depressed today and maybe you're past that now. Maybe one of you were ready to quit and now you're not going to quit. I don't need to know. I just know that at the end, I'm striving for impact and transformation tonight. That's what I'm striving for. 38. What comes after impact? Legacy. Legacy. What can you do to make sure that your legacy, that look, there's legacy and significance. I don't need people to know I did it. I just need to know the outcome kept going. Right? If my legacy, everybody learns that they are more powerful than they believe, I don't need people to run around. They don't have to build a statue out of me. Long as the result keeps going and people keep believing in themselves and they know that they don't have to be programmed, that they know they are more powerful than they think, that they know that they don't, it doesn't matter where they grew up, it doesn't matter what family they were in, it doesn't matter their life circumstances, that they can grow wealth, grow a business, that they could get deeper connection, boom, then I'm hitting my legacy. Number 39, inner freedom. Feel that on a little bit. Inner freedom. You know what inner freedom is? You're just so comfortable inside your skin. Like inner love, inner freedom, inner ability to care about yourself and know, like, there's inner freedom and then there's chaos. You know the stories. I don't know if I'm worthy. I don't know if I'm good enough. I can't believe I did that. Why do I live like this? Look at me. Look at your hair. Inner freedom. Here I am. Here I am. If you think like some of you, I bet if I ask you this, I'm curious. I bet almost all of you here don't remember yourself looking at yourself in the mirror this morning. You probably brushed your teeth in the bathroom, maybe. There's probably a mirror, and I bet a lot of you do not remember seeing yourself in the mirror. Type in, who doesn't, say me, if you don't remember looking at yourself, actually seeing yourself in the mirror. Yeah. Here's what I want you to do. Like, no matter what's going on in your house tomorrow morning or next time you're in the bathroom, just go in there, brushing your teeth, and just go like this. Raise your hand and be like, there you are. There you are. Now, I get it, right? Like, some of you, like for me, I'm like, all right, so there you are. There you are. You got a little bit here. You got a little belly here. You're like, but you know what? Here you are, baby. Here I am. Because if you can't get there, you're going to live. Like if you can't laugh at something, you're going to judge something. And if you're judging yourself, you're hurting yourself. You're putting self-inflictive pain on yourself. So just do that. Every time you go by a mirror, just be like, here I am. Check you out. Check you out. Because that's who you are right now. If you want to change things, change things. That's okay. It doesn't mean you can't grow, expand, modify. That's okay. But have inner freedom. Have inner freedom. Okay. All right. So for the freedom section, I'm going to give you the summary of it. And then I want to know what's your biggest freedom one. Okay. So this one you've probably heard before, and it's the believe it to achieve it, right? You got to believe it deep inside before you could ever achieve it. You probably heard that before. And the other one that goes hand in hand with that is enrich the lives of others. You might be the one word, the one thing, the one moment that saves somebody or serves somebody or heals somebody. Every one of you have a world of experience that you can gift to someone who might need it right now, that might need it right now. All right, type in your biggest one for you, and then we'll get ready to go for a finish line We have a bunch here, but we're going to go to wealth. So I hope you'll hang out with me as we go for a wealth. And if you got to pee, like just like kill the screen, raise the volume, go to the bathroom and come back because we're not going to stop. I didn't stop and I'm still drinking this thing. So you just go to the bathroom if you have to. 360 degrees. Yeah. Oh, so good. Supreme belief. Yep. Purposeful intent. Inner freedom. Nice job, everybody. Humility. Trusting yourself. Legacy. Collaborative coaching. Yes. Treat everyone who thinks. Yep. Oh, you guys have done such a great job. Really, really good job. And if you do all that, if you just do like a couple of those, tell me what will happen for your freedom. Tell me in the chat bar, like what will happen to your freedom? How will you live? How will you feel, right? How will you move forward tomorrow, this weekend? And I'm pretty sure for some of you, like tomorrow, you might be around your family. Well, it's Memorial weekend places, and you might, you might be around your family, Gabby or Jess, and someone might go like, hey, wow, you seem a little bit different. And you're like, oh, thank you. That's all you say. Thank you. See, the rest of the world, they go, hey, Patrick, you seem a little different. Patrick's like, nah, I'm not. I'm the same guy. No. If you're different, say thank you. Thanks for recognizing that. Yeah, I was paying attention to all kinds of new stuff last night. Like imagine, like I push this pretty hard in lots of different areas, and we have whatever small group here. What's the rest of the world focusing on right now, you think? What do you think they're doing right now? I always wonder about that. Like, I get maybe they have a party, a holiday or something, but like, I think people, yeah, COVID mostly. I think people are so focused on not improving that, but then complaining about their non-improvement, right? All right, let's go for wealth. It's one of my favorite subjects, wealth, of course. And and we're doing a 5-week wealth training. We're coming to the next week's the last week of it. Number 40, invest in yourself. You are the number one wealth vehicle there is, period. Your brain, your thinking, your ability to create, your ability to be a leader. You are the number one investment. Invest in yourself before you invest in anything else out there. Number 41. How do you get a better wealth answer? Ask a better question. Ask a better question. People are trying to learn wealth from people who haven't really done wealth, and it's an illusion. My first experience of this, I won't share who it is. Let's just say it's a very famous marketer, very famous, okay? Big house. I went to spend a couple of days at his house, big 10,000 square foot home. I am like, wow, this is a hell of a house. I say to him, how much did you buy this for? He goes, oh, I didn't buy this thing. I rent this thing. I was like, oh, okay. All right. I was like, that was shocking. We got in his Rolls Royce for lunch. Beautiful Rolls Royce. Drive to lunch. I say, man, what'd you pay this for? He goes, I don't own this thing. I leased this thing. And I was like, got it. What you think it is not really what it is. Here's what I like to ask wealthy people. If there was one or two things, and it was the only two things you could tell somebody to help them go to the next level wealth, what would that be? What would that be? Yeah, Chris, I won't share the name, correct, but because it wouldn't be appropriate if I agreed with you, right? And so, but the point is, the question is, if you could ask someone, the right person, the right question at the right time, and then you took act on that, like you could really, you could move the wealth vehicle there. In order to gain wealth, you have to believe that wealth is possible for you. You have to believe wealth is possible. Most people, like I pulled up to get gas today. And when I pulled up, I was like, and I got this big truck and I put premium in it. I don't think I have to, but maybe I have to. I got like a turbocharger in it. I don't know. I just always put premium in every vehicle. And I looked at it and it was like $4 a gallon. I was like, oh, cool. Like meant nothing to me. No emotion attachment. The woman that was in the car there, she's on the phone and she's looking at the thing and she's telling her friend, can you believe it was $6,500? She's cursing. I was like, oh, see, people live in a state of poverty, right? They live in a state of poverty. So they have this resistance to it versus this relentless to it, and relentless to solve something, to know I'm worthy of wealth and let me get to a point that this doesn't mean anything, but I'm focusing on the problem versus this bigger solution I could have. Number 42, focus. Wealth is a focus game. It's a focus game. You have to focus on learning about it, focus on executing about it. And I will just tell you, there's a lot to know. Those on here that went through the wealth training, is there a lot to know or what? There is a lot to know internally, externally. And we're not talking about crypto and stocks and all this. We're talking about everything you got to think about. Like, how do you even think about investing? How do you think about making a decision? Like, there's so many aspects of it. All of it is useless without focus. Same thing with you. If you're not focused now, then you're not getting anything. If you're focused, you are literally going, okay, you're feeling dialed in like you haven't felt in a long time. Number 43, creation. Okay, creation. You have to create yourself into a wealth machine. Like the number one part, see, they teach you, and most of your business owners, so I'll talk from that perspective. You know, most people, their job is first they get a hobby, they start to sell some business stuff. Then they become a business worker, right? They're doing all the things. And then someone says, you got to become the business owner, right? You got to work on it, not work in it. Here's where I want you to create yourself into a wealth advisor. Your business is just a vehicle of wealth. I want you to be a wealth advisor. Someone says, hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm a wealth advisor and I own a bunch of companies. Oh, wow, that's kind of cool. Sometimes you could say I'm a wealth advisor and a wealth investor. You call yourself an investor. You are. You're investing in your business. You invest in your family. You're already an investor. That's creation. That's creation for yourself. Okay. Number 44, seek deeper knowledge. Seek deeper knowledge. Don't go for shallow wisdom. Go for deep knowledge. Somebody who understands the psychology of things, the philosophy of things, how things come together and how things fall apart. Like one of the number one questions I ask when I'm around really smart business people is, what do you do to scale? And what are the things that can make this whole thing fall apart? Like what's the thing I need to know that can make everything crumble, right? Everything. You have to seek deeper knowledge. And when we talk about deeper knowledge, you have to seek the knowledge in yourself that keeps you held back from wealth. Think about that. I always use the same example. And when I was a kid, I would pick up money and my mom right away would tell me, go wash my hands. Why? Type in the chat bar. Why'd she tell me go wash my hands? Because money's what? He's got money. I'm watching you. He's got money. Well, my mom used to say, money is dirty. So my brain was tricked. Money's dirty. You think your brain's going to go find a lot of money? He's kissing the money there. He's like, I love it. I love the money. No, money. See, if you think the money's dirty, your brain won't go find money. It won't go find it. That's how easily, you got to seek the inner knowledge of yourself. All right, number 45, create momentum. Create momentum. All you got to do is this. Make $1 into 2 tomorrow. Make 2 into 4 the next day and see how far you could go with that. Make $4, $8, $8, 16. See how far you could double the money on that. See how far you could go with that. That will help you out a lot. And it's also a fun game. Remember, if you ever guys want a cool little fun story, I think it's a great story. How a guy turns a little red paperclip into $1 million. If you never heard that story, put in question mark. If you never heard the story. Okay. I want one of my team, Aaron, maybe look it up, the red paperclip story, and we'll dump a link in there. Read it. This guy wants to take a little red paperclip, and in a year, he wants to turn it into $1 million. And he does. It's phenomenal. But wait a minute. There's someone else who has a career, a job, and they don't think they can make another couple $1,000s, right? A couple $1,000s. Number 46 for wealth, marketing. I love what Dean Jackson says, a friend of mine. He says, marketing is everything and everything is marketing. I love what Brian Kurtz says, another friend of mine. He says, marketing is the only thing. And when it comes to wealth, wealth is a marketing vehicle. Wealth is a marketing vehicle. And you could create wealth through marketing. How? You could find opportunities for marketing. You could market for investments. You could market to bring in customers. If there's a quest for something for you to master, and I'll give you all three. I'll give you all three. These are the three things that I focused on a lot of my life on mastering. Ready for all three? Okay. Number one, marketing. Number two, the art of selling or sales or serving. Number two. Number three, leadership. Leadership. Marketing, bring people in. Selling, allow them to buy value. Leadership, manage everybody. Help lead people on a movement. If you focus on those three areas, I'll tell you what, you could build any empire you want. I know I'm building them. I build them again. I build them again. I create movements with the same theory, right? Just allow people to buy value, make there's a compelling message that they know that there's going to be value, and lead people to a better place than they could imagine they ever could go. Number 47, strategies. Strategies. Okay. They say success leaves clues. All right. Well, who the hell has the clues, right? Like, that sounds great. It's a great phrase, but like, where? It's like, this is, I'm not telling you, you know what? There's 51 clues to success and they're out there somewhere. I'm like, no, like, let me tell you the clues. Strategies are things that you can implement to get a different outcome. Okay. Strategies are things that you can implement to get a different outcome. All I do, and I've learned this because I spent 3.5 years one-on-one with Jay Abraham. And what I learned about him is he has another strategy. He never knows the exact outcome of the strategy, but he has a lot of strategies, and you could pick one and then you could see what the outcome is. And it taught me that you just go back and look at different things and evaluate the different avenues, and boom. Number 48, we're getting there, everybody. Models. Okay. There's models that are predictable models and unknown models in wealth. A predictable model may be like, hey, you put something in a savings account, which now gives you nothing, but maybe you used to get 1 or 3 or 5% years ago. And that was a model, right? That was a model. And then there's unknown models, right? Unknown model is, I'm going to build this thing, this business, this product, and it's a model, and nobody ever learned it or saw it before. But you want to understand the art of models, right? That it puts pieces together to create an outcome, to create a result. Okay. Number 49, ideas. I'll tell you the best place for ideas, right? They're normally 2 times I find it. Middle of the night when you wake up, or in the shower. Anybody else get that? Middle of the night or the shower. Well, the middle of the night is good because everything's shut down in your body. Everything's shut down. So when you wake up, you're in dream state and you're like, There's an idea. The shower is because you don't have the damn cell phone in there. And no one's banging on the door. All you have is white noise. So what I have in our shower is we have a weatherproof pad. Now you probably think I'm really a nut, right? You could buy it. It's called the weatherproof weather note or something like that. Because when I'm in there, I used to grab my cell phone and I got like soap in my eye and I'm yelling to my wife, can you email me this thing? And then sometimes I come out of the shower, I got so many ideas. My wife's trying to ask, I'm like, don't talk to me now. Aqua note, there you go. I'm like, don't talk to me. I got too many things in my mind. So I got that notepad in there and I'm like, I write things down, right? And then I come out and I rip the paper. I'm like, okay, there's all the ideas. There's all the ideas. Number 50, play a bigger game for wealth. Play a bigger game. Play a bigger game. Some of you are playing such a safe game. Such a safe game. You have one life. Play it the biggest you can. I'm not saying be reckless. I'm just saying play bigger and be upfront with me. How many of you can play a bigger game in your wealth and in your life? Type it in the chat bar. How many of you? Yeah, I know you can. Don't wait for an invitation. Just go do it. Do it tonight. Do it tomorrow. Okay, do it tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to give you some bonus. I'm going to give you some bonus, but we are at 51 and we're also at 9:44, but I'm going to finish. I got six or so more here. Okay, so stay with me. You stayed this long. All right, 51. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Okay, I watch people quit, give up, stop. They just give up. Just don't do it. I promise you, like private message me, go in that food all group and tell people like, I'm at my wit's end. You're always going to have somebody come in and grab your hand and say, let me help you. Let me help you. You're not alone unless you choose to be alone. I promise you that. There's too many good people in the world. There's too many good people on here that will be there for you if you just need someone to talk to. I always tell people like, I could just call you on the phone, not say one thing. You could vent, scream, yell, spit, throw up. Like, it don't even matter to me. I don't even have to say nothing to you if you don't want me to. And then when you're done, just go like, I'm done and just hang up. And you'll know I was just there for you. You needed someone was there. All right, let me give you some bonus ones so I'm prepared for when I hit these other levels. Level, I'm going to call them bonus, but it's 52. Okay, 52. Squeeze the lemon on everything. Okay, all of you that have business or whatever you have, here's what I tell people. Squeeze the lemon. When you're done squeezing the lemon, grind the peel, right? You guys know you put that lemon peel. My wife does things where she does the lemon peel in there. And then when you're done with that, throw it in the damn blender. Like, just keep squeezing that lemon of what you have. All right. 53, financial security. It's a beautiful thing. Go for it. Go for it. You can get it. You have to define what it looks like. You have to know what financial security would look like. Everybody says, I want financial freedom, financial security, but they don't know what it looks like and they don't believe they can get there. Just identify it. And once you know the what, then we could go for the how. Then we could build the how, right? Next one, 54, transform. Transform. I want all of you just to say to yourself, how do I want to transform myself the next 6 months? More powerful, more freedom, more focus, more like I gave you so many things. Become that transformer like the movie, like the car turns into the cool robot. 55, generosity. Be generous. Sponsor some other people for something. My wife and I, like, so many years, and we still do it. We sponsor people for trainings. We've sent people to trainings to help them. We pay for it. We've done trainings at our home. And we invite people. Just be generous with what you can be generous with, right? Just do what you can. Give someone $1, give them $5, give them words of wisdom. It doesn't always have to be money, right? 56, serve. Always, even when you don't have to. I believe everybody's put on the world to be a servant of some kind and serve people. I think they get lost along the way. Like just be willing to serve. You don't have to sell anybody anything. I promise you. Serve them with amazing value, and they'll, if it makes sense, they'll do business with you because you'll change their life. And the last one, and then I'll give you the summary of wealth. 57 is where I said we'll probably have to stop at that point. So we're going to stop at this point. Model greatness. Model greatness and be a model of greatness to others. Just model greatness. Any of you that are in business, you're trying to build your career, your family. I can't promise you I have it all right, but follow me. Watch my stuff. You know, there's YouTube accounts with like, I don't know, hundreds of YouTube videos. I got Facebook groups. I got Telegram. Hit me up on Telegram. I have a Telegram channel, and just follow what I'm doing and model what makes sense for you. Model what I do that might make sense. If I do shit that doesn't make sense, don't do any of that. Don't do any of that, okay? And the summary of wealth is this: grow yourself to grow others. Grow yourself to grow others. And the last part about wealth that I wrote here is when you serve, you know that you always receive it so much more. So just go out there, and wealth is all about serving, and it always comes back 100-fold, maybe 1,000-fold, maybe even more than that. So you hung out with me for my night before my birthday. I'm super honored. Type in some of your biggest takeaways for me. Type in, I hope this night was super great. Kathy, what's up? So glad you guys hung out with me. Travis, so glad you hung out. Phil, everybody, Richmond, thank you. I got Ellen, Anthony, thank you for hanging out. Natasha, so glad. You guys are all so welcome. So welcome. Make sure you go out there and start applying all this amazingness. I'm rooting for all of you the rest of this year. I am. Make sure you contribute if you're in the group. Those of you that are in the Food Dog group and stuff, do me a favor and contribute in there. Help other people. And then in a minute, I'm going to play a song. And if anybody that is in Unlocking the Wealth Code or the Freedom Tribe, if you guys want to stay back a couple minutes, we could do a little special summary with you guys. So just hang tight. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I am going to play you this song on your way out. I am completely honored. Thank you so much.